Welcome to Champions for Life, the radio ministry of First Choice Pregnancy Services here in Las Vegas. I'm Deborah, the Executive Director of First Choice.
And I'm Ken.
And we are Champions for Life.
Hey, welcome, folks. Welcome to the Champions for Life broadcast. I am your co-host, Ken Wilson, and, of course, we have the lovely Deborah Costello.
We're actually both in the house tonight.
We are both here today.
Well, we've been MIA and separate over phones.
Yeah, but we're here with you today, and we're just so delighted. What a post-Thanksgiving broadcast. And It's just, we're hoping that everyone, and I'm sure you did, had a wonderful, beautiful Thanksgiving. Just filled with family love and holiday season. It's just so awesome. I'm just, I love it. The kids are around at Christmas. I went and got the Christmas tree for the host of your show was slightly delayed because of planting a large Christmas tree into the back of the van. But this was not, we got it in and it's in the house and being taken care of as we speak. So praise God. We're doing our thing.
Good job, Ken.
Yes, absolutely. And but before we get going and introduce our very handsome and stout and just ready to go guest today, Joshua. Yes, and there he is. But we want to acknowledge, of course, the sponsors that make this program possible. And if it wasn't for our sponsors, folks, it would be very difficult for us to be on the air. So what we're asking you to do is to take advantage of our sponsors, the services they provide, because they will be a blessing to you, such as Kelly Chiropractic. Now, we know for a fact, we have documented evidence that some of you out there are bent out of shape from this last election. So what we want to do is we want to send you to Doc Kelly to straighten you out. Doc Kelly. We love Doc Kelly. Doc Kelly, listen, he's been in business 32 years, right? Not only is he a doctor, he's a pastor also. How good is that? He's a pastor. So, listen, he treats injuries. It doesn't matter. From falls, accidents, you get in a car crash, going to fix that, work-related, doesn't matter. Does other stuff as well, like maybe you have plantar fasciitis. Maybe you need treatment for high blood pressure, allergy-induced autism. Say that 3 times. Allergy-induced autism treats that. Chronic arthritis pain and inflammation. One of the things I love about Doc Kelly, and I've been seeing him for years, is the fact that he relies on natural and herbal remedies, plus the stuff that he does. And he does a lot. I mean, if you're hurting, please do not live in pain. Please go and see Doc Kelly before you start taking the drugs and all that other stuff. Go and see Doc Kelly and get yourself checked out. Here's his number. Area code 702-870-9200. 870-9200. Kelly Chiropractic right here in Las Vegas. And he's going to take care of you and he's going to love you. One of the proud sponsors of the Champions for Life radio broadcast.
We got Joshua in the house with us today.
Vandeusen.
He is
Joshua Vandeusen.
Vandeusen.
What an awesome name.
He is with Christ Club. And I met him, like 2-3 weeks ago at the Well Church. Mm-hmm. And he came down to First Choice yesterday for a tour. And we sat and chatted for a while. I was like, you should come on a radio show tomorrow night if you don't have nothing going on. And so...
and here he is.
We had a really good chat yesterday.
Yeah.
About his organization and how God is working in that. I normally would have stats for you right now, but I got so busy today, I didn't get the stats. They didn't text them to me, but I can tell you that Monday they had over 30 women that they saw on Monday. Yesterday when Josh and I were down there, the lobby was jam-packed. Mm-hmm. Like the board was full for hours. So... busy season is upon First Choice. People don't think of seasons for babies. But after you have Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Super Bowl, Valentine's Day all together, that is our baby season. So we are starting to see some of the seasonal stuff coming our way.
And for those of you who don't know, the First Choice Pregnancy Services is one of our pregnancy help centers in Las Vegas. And they help young ladies that are in a crisis pregnancy situation. And it doesn't matter what the problem is. It could be from housing to abuse to trafficking. Mm-hmm. It could be anything, any reason. Ladies find themselves pregnant. Maybe they don't know they're pregnant. Maybe there's a problem with the pregnancy. Maybe the young lady has taken the abortion pill, part 1 of the abortion pill, and has changed her mind. The only place that you can get an abortion reversal in the state of Nevada is First Choice Pregnancy Services, and they're going to help save that lady's life. In fact, I think Dr. Hamza has an 80% track record.
It's about 65%.
65.
It's nationally, it's about 65% of
nationally,
them are
about
successful.
65 that are, and it's it's tough, but it's a thing. And if you want to save your baby's life after taking the abortion drug, listen, the only place you can call is First Choice. And if that's you, here's the number: 702-294-CARE. That's 702-294-2273. And say, listen, I think I need to come see you guys, and we're here for. There's no charge, and this is the ministry.
And they're sharing a story with me that I'll pass on to you guys today, just so you kind of understand some of the stuff that they're dealing with. I actually was talking to one of the very first volunteers we had at First Choice when we opened. She called me last night, and she's working for the Billy Graham Ministries, where they take the calls at night and do the whole prayer line with people. And she was telling me, she said, I've had so many people lately that have called saying they have a demon asking me to pray for them. And I'm like, wow. Really? And she's like, yeah. And so we were talking about it, and she's like, I asked my team leader about it. And so she ended up writing a prayer specifically for these people that are calling her asking for prayer that have a demon. And so today I had an executive staff meeting with my two executive members of my group, my workflow, Eve and Rachel. And Eve was telling me yesterday that they had this young woman come in that was just very volatile. And the guy was like talking to Eve, and she had gone back to sonography, and Eve was talking to him about this baby being aborted. She said she had an appointment that day with a doctor later that afternoon. And so the guy said, his grandma didn't have any grandkids, and he really wanted to have this baby, but he was just really disappointed in who the mother of his baby was. And long story short, I guess he'd slept with her one night, and supposedly she got pregnant, which he couldn't believe. But this gal got back to sonography, and she just started losing her mind. And the sonographer was putting the warm gel on her, and she said it burnt, and then she got it, and she started squeezing it all over the walls in the sonography room, and telling her the demon was telling her that she had to abort this baby.
Wow.
And so it got into this whole huge thing of so Eve started talking to her, and she's like, do you hear the demon, what it's telling me? And started it was just crazy. And so even them have had a few situations like that lately, where they've had demon possessed people that have just been really crazy. The only thing that finally ended up settling her down was Eve said, I'm gonna have to call the police, because then she started threatening suicide and a bunch of stuff. And the guy was like, this is how she is every day. Do you see what I'm saying? And Eve was like, wow. So I think that even as you see our world continuing to spiral without Jesus, the impacts and effects of it in people's life. Eve was just like, when you start thinking about praying demons out of people, are you prepared for who they're going to enter when you start doing that? And so it just put him in, it was really interesting conversation today, just to listen to all that was going on and the thoughts that Eve had going through her mind as she was trying to deal with this situation. So as they're busy down there and they're on the front line of the war on life, just keep them in your prayers, that God would continue to guide them and give them his words and wisdom and how to navigate some of the very crazy stuff they deal with.
Yeah, that's really tragic, and there's no question that a lot of the patients that come in, there's a spiritual force that is influencing their lives in one way or another, and First Choice sees it all. Yeah. And listen, there are answers out there. Maybe even if you can't rationalize what that answer is, that answer could very well be found at First Choice. And you're not going to lose anything by going and talking to the counselors there about what your situation is, what you're dealing with, and it doesn't matter what it is. And if we can get you some help, we'll get you help. And that's all there is to it. That's why First Choice exists.
All right. So, Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself. Married, kids?
Yeah. I've been married for 8 years. We're going into our 9th year this year in 2025.
Awesome.
Hopefully our 10th year we can get over to Italy. That's my goal.
Hey.
Nice.
Bucket list down. But we have 2 kids. We have 2 beautiful kids. I have my 5-year-old Gianna and my 3-year-old Colin. So
Awesome.
we've been living in Las Vegas since 2019, and we moved out here from outside Philadelphia,
East
area.
Costa.
No more snow, thank God.
Yes, I can dig
no
that.
snow. Well, I was going to say no mosquitoes, but that's
No
kind of changed
mosquitoes.
over the last
That's
few
true.
years.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I've had mosquito bites this past summer. I had a couple. I'm like, where'd these come from? There can't be
Yeah.
mosquitoes here.
There
No way.
wasn't when I first moved here. I've heard stories of how they got here. I don't know. So you're with Christ Club.
Yep, Club Christ. Yep.
Club Christ.
Yeah.
Tell everybody what Club Christ is all about, because it was fascinating to learn what you guys do and how you operate.
Yeah, Club Christ, we've been in operation for 20 years in Las Vegas. We're an after-school learning program. And the basis of our program is we're serving about 120 K through 12th graders right now in underserved areas of Las Vegas. And we have 3 centers. And what's unique is our centers are located in the apartment complexes of the families we're serving. So it adds this unique ability to be in the midst of the community. We're there with them. We're their next door neighbors. We literally call them they're our neighbors, and it adds this unique ability to have We're building relationships with them in such a way where we could speak into their lives and that they know that we care and love for them. So we've been at our one location in Henderson and Landsman Gardens for 16 years. Our other location, Las Vegas Center, is off Rancho and Vegas Street. We've been there 12 years. And then our Summerhill location off Pecos and Owens, 6 years.
So tell us what you mean by being in these locations, because I was so surprised when I heard you had staffing at these locations and a schedule.
Yeah. So we partner with the apartment complex managers, and a lot of times they'll donate the space to us. So it'll either be a 2-bedroom apartment or the community center, and we'll convert it into our classroom. And they give it to us to use. We're there 4 days a week. We have our programming. 5th day, we usually do mentoring. And we have a center director who works there that we hire to be the boots on the ground, be with the families, be there every day. They facilitate the program. And then we have volunteers from all over the Las Vegas Valley that will volunteer and work with the kids during tutoring time at our centers. And what we focus on 3 areas at our centers. We're doing reading help and homework help. 2 out of 3 third graders in Clark County are not proficient in reading, so we're tackling that need and supporting the school district in that, joining them and getting kids up to speed in their reading. And actually 74% of our K through 3rd graders raised a whole grade reading level being in our program last year.
Uh-huh.
So it's just amazing what God's doing. With our teens, we do leadership development, workforce development. We did like Dave Ramsey's financial literacy class, like Financial Peace University. And by the way, our program's completely free, so all these resources are completely free. As they're in underserved areas, we want to give them resources they typically wouldn't have access to. We've done teamwork. We've done life skills class. I love to cook. It's ingrained in Italian culture. I make a good homemade sauce, but I taught them how to make omelets and hey, how to do laundry, how to change a tire. We had a mechanic come in, teaching them how to change a tire and
awesome.
how to go. So things I wish I had growing up as
Life
a teenager.
skills.
Exactly. We want to prepare them to be leaders in the workforce because we believe these kids, everything they face, they have to persevere. They're in survival mode a lot of the time in these neighborhoods. And they usually, when you've been through those kind of circumstances, when you're a disciple of Christ and you come to Christ, you're going to persevere, you're going to lead, you're going to be an example to others of what being more than a conqueror looks like. Mm-hmm. And that leads into the last focus as we do Bible study with all of our age groups. We're able to lead them to Jesus, give them the gospel. And I just love working with kids and just hearing their questions and seeing God have that right moment where they get it. And, and honestly, we talk about how America could be a Christian nation, but I'm realizing how these kids don't know anything about the Bible or what it means to be a Christian, mind you. Like just hearing God created the heavens and the earth. They never heard this concept before. So it just blows me away, and it's just such an honor that God puts me in the position I get to see him at work every day in these kids' lives. So
that is really cool.
And you said you guys have graduates of this, right?
Yeah, we have graduates. So we've had kids who have been in our program starting in 2nd grade. And then went all the way through, and we walked them through all their years of all the way through high school and graduating, and now they're in post-secondary education, and they're first generation college students. We got others who like got an apartment right away and got in the workforce. Man, I wasn't doing any of that at 18, 19. I'm like, I want to stay in my parents' house as long as I possibly can. So it just shows their grit and their leadership quality and their character. So yeah, we actually hire some of them as interns. Some of our teams, so we'll hire a couple teens from our teen program to intern at the centers, and they're able to invest back in the kids in their community.
Oh, how cool.
And then the kids are able to see leaders in their community who are living for Christ. It's just it's positive cycles, not negative cycles. So a lot of times when they are ready to graduate, we are able to give them a scholarship yearly for their post-secondary education, those interns who move on, whether it's trade school, whether it's college, and we still keep in contact, and just the stories that they have. Again, it's just I'm inspired, and they're an example to me. I learn from them as much as I'm pouring in there. I'm learning from them, just seeing how they live out their faith.
Wow, that's amazing. How did the Lord lead you into this ministry?
Yeah, funny story is, so I was going to college at the time, and Vegas was laid on my heart to come out here, and originally was to come plant a church. And my wife is a teacher, so she wanted to work in the school district, and there's a huge need here for teachers. So we originally came out for that, but during my degree, I had to do my practicum. And I knew a pastor out here who was one of my mentors, and he was planning a church. He says, you should come out here and pretty much do your internship. So this is in 2016, and how God kind of led the way in this. So I went out, and he pretty much like just loaned me out, because I'm an intern, so you're just doing everything. I'm working with Teen Challenge, because I'm also a Teen Challenge graduate, by the way, if you're familiar with Teen Challenge.
Yes, I am.
I got to intern with them for 2 weeks, and then I interned with YWAM. And while I was with YWAM for that 2 weeks, we went to Club Christ Center in Las Vegas, and I got to go there. And I remember doing the Bible study and acting as a Daniel in the lion's den, and that always stuck with me, like the kids and their reactions. So full circle moment, after the pandemic, I was looking for full-time work in addition to pastoring, which a lot of people had to reevaluate. Inflation's going up. You're thinking, okay, I got to work more. So I'm like, Lord, all right, I got to get, full-time job, but I want to do something that's missional, where I'm in the community and we're serving people of need, those people on the margins who are in need of your love. Right. And I'm looking on Indeed, of all places, and one of the first 3 jobs that popped up was Club Christ. And right there, I looked at it, and I'm like, I forgot about it. I was here for like a couple years already pastoring, and my wife was working for the district. And it's just funny how God had that full circle moment, light bulb. I'm like, this is it. I didn't even apply anywhere else. I knew that's where God was leading me. So I applied. I started as program director, and then eventually led into me becoming executive director about 3 years ago.
Holy smokes. And so the ministry has been, you said it's been in operation now, what, 20 years?
20 years.
Wow.
20
so
years.
It's already seeing the graduates, seeing the people come back, teaching, reinvesting in the youth. So walk me through, say for example, maybe ideally, I'm living in a complex. There happens to be a Club Christ right there in my facility. Mm-hmm. Basically, I find out what's going on, one way or another, either through maybe perhaps the facilitator is letting everyone in the complex know that you exist, and then I bring my child, and what happens next? I mean,
yeah. So that it's really like through organic relationship. So the apartment complex managers work with us. They'll usually hand out those flyers to new residents that come in for us, because they love us being there. They work in tandem. They know we're doing a vital service in their community. So with our center directors, the kids tell word of mouth. They love it so much that they tell their friends, and then they bring their friends, and they're like, hey, how can I come in? Great question. So, and we have an enrollment forms for every kid, and their parents have to fill out enrollment forms for them to be enrolled. Once their parent fills out their enrollment forms, they're in the program. We get them plugged in, and the rest is history.
And so the parents obviously are not present during the entire time of their after-school program, right? So the parents are, going upstairs, cooking dinner, whatever they're doing, and you guys have these kids for an hour or two?
Yeah. We usually have them for about 3 hours after school.
Okay.
So we portion out our program. When they come in, they're having a snack. They need a brain break. When they're coming out of school, to get started right away, there's no way they're going to make it. So
Right.
we'll give them a snack, and then we do our tutoring and homework help time and our reading help time for an hour, and they do rotations. They split them up in the groups, and then usually after that, either the teens will come in or they'll have their Bible study after that. So usually about a total of 3 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours.
So the parents are loving this because, listen, my kid's homework, little Johnny's homework is getting done.
Yes.
Right? And
Yes.
not only that, I mean, the guy's it's taking pre-algebra, and I forgot my pre-algebra, but you guys are there, and you can walk them through it.
Especially the fact it's a free service. And you talk about the neighborhoods; they're pretty. You got gang activity happening in these neighborhoods,
Right.
and 85% of our family households are single mother homes, single parent homes. So usually, what we found is the case is these moms are working 2-3 jobs. They're doing all they can, and they just can't be available after school. And if they are working that much, can you imagine coming home and after a long day and like I got to do homework with my 5 or 6 kids? We're filling in gaps where dad's not there a lot of the time and filling in those gaps. So they love us being there because, number one, they're coming after school and they're coming in a safe place. They know where they're at. We're in their neighborhood. We're right in the same apartment complex. There's no guessing where they are. They walk right after school with their brothers or sisters and they'll come. And they're not getting into trouble where they're having access to the games. We're giving them another option to where they're not, if we're not there, what are their options?
Yeah.
And this is where Satan has his playground.
Exactly.
And that's where I think we're on the battle lines of fighting for the next generation. We're right in the thick of it and saying, no, Jesus has something, a better way for you. You don't have to go that route. And I think the parents see the value of that. Whether they're Christian or not, they see the full value of that. And what I see, too, is the kids, as they're growing and their character's changing or they're coming to Christ, that their parents are now asking about the Lord and asking for prayer or going back to church. I have stories of parents going back to church, like prodigal sons and daughters, like coming and then going back to church because of the impact in their kids' lives.
How cool is that? I mean, it's awesome. We're talking with Joshua Vandeusen of Club Christ. Did I say that right? I keep saying, I want to say Christ Club. It's not. It's Club Christ. It's Club Christ. And a ministry, more than a ministry, really. It's sort of a miniature discipleship program for our underserved children that are living in an apartment complex throughout our city, from Henderson all the way into almost North Las Vegas, right?
Yep.
Club Christ is Christ's club.
Without a doubt.
Actually, maybe we need to do a rebrand. I think you're right. He's the head, right?
An executive decision
It's okay,
has just been made.
as long as you get it either way, you'll find it, right?
So Joshua, listen, the parents listening right now, they're saying, you know what a great thing. Someone is going to help my kid with their, listen, that already ears are perking up. Someone is going to help my child. I can't help my kid anymore. I don't have time, right? And is going to help them with the homework. Dad is asleep on the couch or non-existent or whatever he's doing.
Yes.
And so they need some help. They want to be involved. How do they get in touch with you folks?
Yeah, as far as anybody outside the apartment complex?
Or in or otherwise. They
Or-
want more information about
more information? Yeah.
How about somebody wanting to start another one in another apartment complex?
All
How
of
would
the
you go
above.
about that?
All the above. Well, number one, if you want to know more and with more information, you go to clubchrist.org. Our number's on there. You could send an email to info@clubchrist.org if you want to know information. Hey, you want to start a new Club Christ, send me an email.
Is Club Christ only in Vegas, or is it
just Las Vegas.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's not like a nationwide thing.
No. Hopefully the Lord does
Not
it.
yet.
Exactly. That would be ideal, vision-wise, to see the Lord expand it throughout the nation, because there's a need throughout our whole nation for something like this. So yeah, they can go to clubchrist.org for more information and learn more about us. And actually, as far as starting new centers, we've actually we're looking to expand in 2025, and we're going to partner with Metro, our Metropolitan Police Department, open 2 new centers in 2025 to reach more kids. Where Sheriff McMahill is backing this, and it's really, really exciting.
It's the second time that I've heard the sheriff's name come up in a good context. So this is encouraging.
Yeah,
very encouraging. Let's a little shout out to the sheriff. And so fantastic. So so if you want more information, you could email Joshua at info@clubchrist.org. That's info@clubchrist.org, and say, I need more information, or I want to get my child involved, or whatever your question is. And let's get some let's see how you can be a part. Maybe Club Christ will bless your child, and in turn your child not only will be a benefit not only to the household. I imagine there's a lot of households out there that are troubled, have some trouble, but now little Johnny's coming home and he's First of all, his homework is done. He's being more well-behaved. He's asking to help around the house a little bit more. You're seeing a change. Now you're impacting the mom, the families, and you say, well, wait a minute, I want that in my home. I need, looks like I need Club Christ in my complex, or we need to move to wherever Club Christ is.
Come move to us, yeah.
But that's right. Let's find out where they are and get over there. And what a blessing. It's just I love that. And
you
you've
plant
done your
the
time.
seeds in these little ones, and then they go and they spread it around.
Oh, man, how cool is that? All right. Well, listen, we've come to the half point of our broadcast, and so doing, we must acknowledge one of the great sponsors that make this portion. The one thing you're not supposed to do is bang your papers on top.
No tapping or banging the table.
No tapping or doing any of that, because it's wrong if you're out there in Radio Land. But if you're paying attention, and you should be, you want to take all of your printing business to this place. We're going to give you the number and address. It's RTS, Postal Express, for all your print needs. Now, listen, there's nobody's going to beat their price. Now, possibly there might be some things but listen, RTS Postal Express is going to beat the price 9 times out of 10. And furthermore, if you mention Champions for Life, or KKBV, either one, you're going to get 10% off your first order. Now, that's not for Joshua, because Joshua is going to take all his Club Christ materials and he's going to go right down to RTS and ask for, which actually would be okay. Just mention.
Come on now.
Just bring the business. But RTS Postal Express, I think it stands for really terrific service, because I love Angelo. Give them a call. It doesn't matter what your printing needs are. It could be, I need a new letterhead. I need a new logo. I need a new business card. I need a banner for my business. I need coffee cups. I need shirts with my name on it that says Club Christ. I need something. This is where you go. RTS Postal Express. Here's the number, 702-489-4859. That's 702-489-4859. And say, Angelo, I heard you on KKVV. I heard you on the Champions for Life. I want to be a champion. I want to save some money on my printing costs, and RTS is going to do it for you. And make sure that you tell them that you heard about it right here on KKVV, Champions for Life radio broadcast. There you go.
And look at Ken is on top of his game.
Mm-hmm. That was really good.
But
You
listen,
tied in Club
love
Christ and everything. Yeah, I mean,
and we got him as a new business partner for it. Now,
I got to go there now.
I love Angelo. The funny thing about it, I'm going to give Angelo a plug. First of all, he loves the Lord. I've known Angelo longer than your ministry has been in business.
Wow.
But I'm an old guy, right? So, but Angelo.
Ken, how old are you?
Older. And
35.
Angelo, I've just known, I know his heart. After you've been with someone for decades, you know the guy, right? You've been in ministry with the guy for so long. You know where his heart is. And I'm not going to say he's going to do it for you guys. And I'm not going to say for you guys that are 501c3s or charities out there, tell them that you're involved in ministry when you go to see Angelo, because he has a heart for reaching out to the body of Christ and for missions work, stuff just like this. So you tell him that, and see what happens. I'm not promising anything, but that's where his heart is. That's why I love Angelo. That's why that's why he sponsors broadcasts like this and missions and things like this. And so you do want to go and see him. Again, I'll give him another call. 702, here's his number, 702-489-4859, RTS Postal Express. And let him know that you were here and that you heard the broadcast and that you absolutely need 10% off your first order. That's all there is to it.
Okay, Josh, your wife's name, is it Rachel?
Rachel,
how did you and Rachel find out about First Choice?
First Choice. This is great. I love this story. So I have close friends of mine that one volunteers. His name's Brian Calkins. He volunteers. I think he's your head of security. And his wife are huge advocates and love you guys. There was your banquet a couple of years ago. And they said, "Hey, you got to come to First Choice." First Choice is a gala. It was a banquet or gala, or both.
It was banquet 2 years ago. We had somebody else helping us this year, and they said it needs to be gala for your 20th. So we were gala this year.
I'm gonna go with banquet.
It's usually banquet.
You know what?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going with banquet. Let's go there.
But the women go to galas and the men go to banquets.
That's right.
That's what happens.
So maybe you could combine and go banquet gala with that.
We'll be banquet again.
How about a bangala?
Bangala.
We'll discuss this next year for the next bangala. But anyway.
So I think one of the person's table had spots, and she said you should come. So I ended up going and not knowing much other than your crisis pregnancy center. And I remember just hearing the stories. You had these incredible videos and testimonials. And the best part was like you had all the women and families, so you tangibly are seeing these saved babies, these beautiful babies up there. I cried like 2 or 3 times. So, and me and my wife have just started such a heart for babies and the unborn, and so any organization that's fighting for their voice, we love. So I just fell in love with the program, and so then my wife, I telling her about it, she looks you guys up. She gets emotional watching your videos online, and then is a huge advocate for that. And then someone invited her to the banquet this past year.
Yeah.
The banquet this past year.
Last month, or 2 months ago.
2 months
right.
ago. And gave her a spot, and she fell even more in love to where she wants to volunteer. We're praying about, honestly, I didn't tell you, but supporting you guys monthly. So
Hey,
we
thank you, Lord.
just really love what you guys do. So that's how I found out. And then touring your center.
So what'd you think yesterday when you came for a tour? I heard the same thing out of him that I heard out of everybody. This place is way bigger than I thought.
Mhm.
It's like what's that by C.S. Lewis? That book, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Chronicles of Narnia?
Like you open the wardrobe,
you open
and
the
then
wardrobe, it's a whole
not
new
a
world.
wardrobe.
It's a
You walk
whole
back
new
there, there's a
world.
whole nother world back there.
Yeah, there is,
So,
literally.
I'm expecting like 3 or 4 rooms, and we're going through, and it's just more and more and more, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And I looked at her, I'm like, you guys are literally using you're stewarding every bit of space here.
Yes, every square inch.
Every square inch is being used, and it's amazing. It's professional, but what really stuck out to me walking through was the presence of God is there. That was the overarching principle. Yes, it's professional. I think I've seen people feel vulnerable there. It's a safe place. I felt safe being there. I mean, that's why our conversation, I feel like, because the presence of God's there, you feel vulnerable, you feel safe. And that's why a lot of these women are making the choice, because the presence of God's wooing them and using you guys there. But also they feel a spot to be able to share more, and you're able to speak into them in a way that wouldn't be elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And that tells me that God's hand's upon you. So that's why even there, when I'm with you, we were there like an hour and a half just chatting away, but I'm even being vulnerable there. I'm like, okay, so this is a part of the culture here. So I just, it was really refreshing. And I just love what you guys are doing. So
What a very authentic outfit down there.
it is.
We
It
are.
is. Like there's like a family atmosphere. Everybody's got smiles, and I'm pretty sure there's stories you're hearing like heartbreaking. Everybody's just filled with joy there, and again, they have the Holy Spirit, and everybody's supporting one another in there.
We have a
You just
great
got
team. Yeah.
it's the Lord he's working.
It's you know what I liken it to. First of all, I call it a sanctuary. It is a sanctuary. It is, and but when I feel this, I feel the presence when I go to church, and when I walk into that place, I feel that the Holy this is the Lord is welcome here, and of course the patient that's walking through the door, they have no idea, right? But when they walk in, and then the Lord is there, and the Lord is speaking through the counselors or everyone that's working, to everyone that they contact. Well, guess what happens? This is where the miracles happen. This is where the birthdays come after. And I love going there. If you have not toured First Choice Pregnancy Services, you will be amazed. You'll be just like Joshua. You're like, holy smoke, this is awesome, right? That is what you're going to experience when you walk in. When you meet the nurses and the staff, you see all the equipment, the medical. It's a clinic. It literally is a clinic. But all the counseling rooms and everything else. And I'll tell you a little secret. Probably shouldn't tell you this because the executive director is sitting right next to me,
I'm
and
like, what
she's
secrets just getting
she's eyeing me suspiciously. But they're actually working on a little studio inside First Choice. It's gonna be
I got to
great.
see
It's
it too. I got a
almost
sneak
done.
peek.
It's so close. I'm just
Ken's baby.
Oh man, the podcasts are gonna go. By the way, speaking of, for those of you, this is a plug to our entrepreneurs out there. Listen, we could use now. Listen up. If you are a computer store or a computer technician, or you sell laptops, desktop, any kind of electronic equipment, listen. This clinic, First Choice Pregnancy Services, which is 501c3, they need your assistance. We want to enter into a contract with you. We want to be able to work out some kind of great deal with you folks, and give First Choice Pregnancy Services a call so that we can work something out that will be a blessing to you and a blessing to First Choice, and will help thousands of patients every day. I'm going to give you, the executive director is getting a little worried right now, but we'll work it out. We'll work it out. Give First Choice Pregnancy Services a call, 702-294-CARE. That's 702-294-2273. We could use some godly assistance for those of you that love the Lord and are actually wanting to be a part of this great ministry and clinic for Las Vegas. And now I'm probably going to be in a lot of trouble, but you won't hear about it because we'll be off the air.
I'm disclaimering whatever Ken said.
See, I told you. But we could use your help.
We always love working with people who love Jesus and love life. There's room for everybody. Yeah. And if we don't need you, I'm sure Joshua does.
Yeah, come our way. Well, yeah, give us a call too if you want.
Absolutely. Be a blessing.
That's another thing we were talking about yesterday. Just how important it is. Hold on a second. My husband, he's in jail.
Wanted to be a part of the podcast.
I say that the other day.
A lot of things are going to happen after this
My
broadcast.
daughter starts laughing. She's like, Mom, he's in jail. Because he's a police officer, so he's not in jail as a criminal. No, we were just talking about, how much we can accomplish together when everybody knows what each other is doing, and we can connect people to services and things that are going to improve their lives and continue to share Christ with people. And so I have some things in the works right now that hopefully the beginning of the year we will put out some solid information, but working on uniting those who lead nonprofits monthly together so that we can really connect a network of people that will be able to benefit each other in what we're doing and further what all we're doing.
That's a good idea.
There's so many of us out here like him. I'm like, been around 20 years. I've never heard about it.
Neither had I.
There's so many things lately that I've heard about that I'm like, I've never heard about them before. And they're awesome ministries and they're doing great work. But even as, the days darken and times get tougher, those who do stand for Christ need to align themselves together because we're stronger together when we know what each other is doing and can stand up. Just even with our doctor's situation, the more people that can stand up united, the louder and bigger your impact is. And so ultimately, none of us should be worried about who's getting the glory or the money for whatever we're doing because God is going to provide our needs.
Amen, sister.
As long as we're walking according to His plan and His will, there shouldn't be any competition between executive directors and ministries.
Come on.
We're all on the same page doing the same thing, and if we truly believe that we're serving Jesus, we don't got to worry about all the other stuff. So we're really looking forward to seeing Josh regularly.
Yeah, amen.
And, just unifying those that are out here doing so many things and connecting people. There's a lot of people that have resources. While I was home for Thanksgiving, my brother was doing a devotional one night. And, all the young kids, no matter how young they are these days, they all know who Elon Musk is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know my 13-year-old follows all the time. He's the richest man in the world. And he said, guys, when Elon Musk dies, he might be the richest man in the world, but he's not taking any of it with him.
Come on. Yeah.
And it was so powerful to think on that when he said that, because I'm like, people don't ever look at him and think that. Hey, Elon, you're not taking your money with you when you die. So what are you doing with it while you're here? Are you sitting on it? Or are you using that talent to advance the lives of people in the kingdom of heaven? And so for anybody that might be sitting on money, I'd encourage you to invest into organizations that are actually making an impact in the lives of people and furthering the kingdom of Christ. there's so many solid organizations, like First Choice, like Club Christ, like Kingdom Minded, that are out there doing things that don't have a lot of resources. That that if you had those resources available to you, you could multiply what you're doing. And so, don't sit on that because you can't take it with you. Make it count while you're here. Use it effectively.
Yeah.
And be a change maker.
Absolutely. In fact, for those of you that are making their end-of-year donations because of tax purposes or whatever it is, you have two great ministries right here. You have First Choice Pregnancy Services, a 501c3. Listen, to be honest, we need 3 or 4 more just in the Las Vegas area, 3 or 4 more First Choice Pregnancy Service centers, clinics that can help these women because we're underserved. We're underserved here in our Las Vegas Valley. And, of course, you got Club Christ that is making a difference for our youth in our valley with their after-school programs that are Christ-centered. And
we're 501c3
and they're 501c3 as well. So, listen, these are two great ministries where you could sit down and say, well, listen, we've got to make an end-of-year donation. We're looking at all these different charities. Listen, how about something that will make an eternal difference? Something that will, when you stand before the Lord one day, you can say, you know what, this is what we supported. This is what we believe in and supported. First Choice and Club Christ, 2 excellent I didn't mention mine, by the way.
Yeah, 40 Days for Life.
40 Days for Life. What's Christian Action Council? But that's another thing.
Living Grace Maternity Home.
There's so many. Living Grace.
Nevada Right to Life.
Nevada Right to Life. Listen, we got people praying for
yeah.
the Next Question 6 ordeal. We already got 3 separate groups that are doing their own things independently. We're going to try and coordinate the 3 that are working towards the ballot question that's going to hit in 26. So we already
that's a big
Choose Life 26. Choose Life 2026 is already formed and operating and meeting and praying.
I love it.
Yeah.
So we're working on it. And so does and Nevada Right to Life. They're also working on it. So a lot of stuff happening. If you would like to make those end-of-year donations and you want to say, you know what, Ken, you're right. And we got to make this donation for tax purposes. We're ready to do it. Give us a call. Call First Choice. And their number, 702-294-CARE. That's 702-294-2273. And you say, well, yeah, okay, First Choice is great, but I really wanted Club Christ. They will point you in the direction of Club, I promise you, and making a difference also in the Las Vegas Valley. And, be a blessing. You will be blessed. In fact, First Choice Pregnancy Services and Club Christ is not responsible for the blessing and the bountiful blessing of business that you will receive from your donation. We're not responsible. You get too much business, that is your problem. You have to deal with it. We're blameless. However, if you need more business for your business, then be blessed of God by supporting ministries such as Club Christ and First Choice Pregnancy Services.
Ken over here is behind 2 nonprofits, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ken, you probably haven't told people about the other one. You should tell them.
Well, you've got Christian Action Council of Southern Nevada. It's the umbrella ministry of 40 Days for Life. So we do everything underneath that. We are 501c3. And years ago, we did the production play of Tilly, written by Frank Peretti, which was an awesome play. And, Lord willing, if we get a production team together, we'll do it again.
That was a nod at me because Ken's asked me for it. I'm like, yeah, Ken, I'm going to get on that sometime.
That's you're
just when I can
busy.
spin
You're
my
busy.
hat enough
busy.
to
You're
get
busy.
that in, we'll do that.
You're busy. But, yeah, we did 20 performances. It was a great blessing throughout the years. I mean, we did it everywhere. I mean, I could sit here and talk for hours about what a great
Tell
script.
them what Tilly is.
Tilly is a play that was written by a great Christian author by the name of Frank Peretti. And Frank Peretti wrote years ago, Piercing the Darkness and This Present Darkness was a national Christian bestseller. And so he wrote this little book called Tilly. And the funny thing is, a cop came up to me one day and he pointed his finger at my chest and he said, I want you to do this play, which I had no theater experience whatsoever. But anyway, 2 weeks later, over Focus on the Family radio broadcast, I heard the radio drama of Tilly. So I got the radio. I called him up, gave me the tape, gave it to the police officer, my friend, Chet Gallagher. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was. And then he came back and said, do it. Just like, when a cop tells you to do, what do? You got to do it. You got to do it, right? Yeah. And so he did. We did 20 performances over
intimidation and bullying
10 years. Right.
tactics.
We took his book, we took the radio drama, we created a script which did not exist, right? And we created an actual script. We got the music. We created some music. And we got the actors, had a casting call. KKVV, another radio station prominent here in Las Vegas, helped us with the casting call. And we had people from all over the valley. And over the years, we did, I think, the star of the show is this little 9-year-old girl. Since you've asked, a little 9-year-old girl. And the story goes that this Christian couple, they had an abortion 9 years ago. Now they're married. They have a family. And now 9 years later, this mother's having problems, and one thing leads to another, and now through a dream sequence, the Lord allows the mother to meet the child who is in heaven.
Oh man.
Oh, it's so powerful.
Redemptive.
Now, and this little girl, now the mother doesn't know what's going on. She thinks she's dreaming, but the little daughter is meeting her mom for the first time and showing her around. Doesn't tell her that she's her mom. She knows, but mom doesn't know yet. And so, meanwhile, dad is back at home trying to figure out what's wrong with my wife. She's sleeping too much. She's not getting any sleep, roaming around the house. And he's trying to put the pieces together, and he does. He figures out what happened, right? Because prior to becoming a Christian, he had that abortion. And they put the pieces together, and the finale is just, oh gosh. It's so awesome. And it's a great play. It is a masterpiece. So one year, I got to tell you this, one year I had the pleasure at a gala banquet event for another crisis pregnancy center here in town, and guess who the keynote speaker was? Frank Peretti. And so when we were there, I got some of the cast, got my director, we sat down, we got a table, and I brought a script. And I came to him, and everybody's trying to get his autograph on the book, right? Selling his books, getting his autograph. And I put the script right in front of him. And of course, on the front page is Tilly with our artwork, a little girl looking behind a tree. It's beautiful. And he starts flipping through it, and he couldn't believe it. And he says, "You've got to send this to me." And so we did. And so we took that, because apparently people had been contacting him over the years since Tilly was done. We need a script. We need a script. There is no script. He never wrote one. But we had one, and since then, boom, Tilly went out everywhere. It went all over the country from what we did. So it was a great blessing. Plus, oh gosh, the people that we ministered to. Every time we did the performance, we would have counselors there in the front, because you don't know who it's going to impact. You don't know who your audience is, right? And so we had counselors there to pray with folks. And many times there were people in the audience but a lot of times, you know what happens? The audience, maybe they had gone through an abortion, maybe they had a miscarriage, whatever it is, and they're still dealing with the tenderness of that issue. And they don't want to pray with your counselors from First Choice. They want to pray with the cast. I can't tell you how many times a father has come to me in tears after the show and said, "Kenny, oh man," and and he needed prayer for what he had done. He needed the forgiveness, bringing healing. Yeah. It was so awesome. Wow. So here's my thing. Since we've mentioned it, if you are in theater and you have a gifting of putting together productions,
Ken is doing a casting call.
Boy, do we have a script for you that will change lives forever. After we did our first set of performances, we did five or six performances in a row at a makeshift movie theater that we made into a play place. And
which place did you use?
No. At the time it was book, and it turned into Bookstore, but it used to be over Maryland Parkway. It used to be a theater, and then it closed down, and my friend of mine bought it, and then we renovated one of the theaters into an actual play room. So they had all the chairs. All we had to do is redo the stage. And so after one of the performances, would you believe that a Christian movie production company approached us and said, we want this. We want this. I was like, wow. But you know what? We couldn't do it. You know why? Because Frank Peretti had sold the copyright of we couldn't do it. And it was the host of your show could have been a star.
Could you just change a few details and names and make it your own?
They're not going to. The funny thing was,
rename all the characters.
Right, exactly. I wasn't even going to be in the play. I was going to sit back. I got the director. I got the music guy. I played Dan, the husband, and I wasn't going to do it.
I kind of would have guessed that.
I wasn't going to do it.
You played the husband.
I played the husband, the guy that figures it out, and I wasn't going to do it. But the director that I had gotten, one day Dan didn't show up, for rehearsal, and she said, "Well, Kenny, you got to read for him." I was like, okay, you know, you do what you're
Because
directed.
Ken is such a team player.
Well, I just was going to sit back and I was going to sit back and collect the accolades. You know, I'm the producer. You know, I'm the guy that made this. You know, that was going to be me. No, God had completely other plans. You're Dan. And I'm the guy. I'm on stage. Never been on stage before like that. You know, I'd never done any produced, never did none of that. Crash course in everything, lighting and sound and script and music and all this stuff. And it was, you know, and at one point I had to direct for a couple of times, and it's just like, you know, you never know. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
You never know when you turn your life over to Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you're going to be on the ride of your life. He is going to take you in a direction you had no idea. The blessing that is coming your way is going to surpass anything that you could have ever imagined for your future plans ever in your entire life. I had no idea that a cop was going to stick his finger in my chest and say, you are doing this. And I did.
And so while you think about that cop, think about him and the other people that have been unjustly persecuted.
And fortunately, Chet Gallagher, yes, he's you know, the thing is, he had surgery, and the judge said that you do not have to begin your sentence until after the beginning of the year. However, 4 or 5 others are imprisoned in different states under the FACE Act and will remain in prison, some for 11 years.
One of them is Beverly. She has a little 2-year-old daughter.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, there's a young mother. There's another little lady. She's I can't remember her name.
Holocaust survivor, right?
Yes,
like
and and it's real tight in that I think she's in Montana prison, and you can't even contact her. You cannot visit her. It's really tough. Cal Zastro's facing 11 years he's in, but the facility that he is in is a little less stringent, shall we say, but I mean, it's prison, folks, federal prison. So one of these days, maybe the next broadcast, there's a website dedicated just to them. If you would like to help write to them, send them a beautiful Christmas card, or if you would like to, these folks could use a deposit into their commissary account where, you know, maybe a little $20 bill helps them pay for whatever it is that they need for their supplies while they're in prison. These folks are...
Flood the White House with a petition that they get.
Oh, there's people praying for them. Now, Trump has promised that first day in office, he's going to pardon them all. We will see.
Oh.
Good.
We will see if that actually occurs.
That's been my prayer, that he'll, along with he said he's going to do the J6ers. I'm like, I hope you don't forget the pro-lifers.
Yeah, I have heard that this is what he's going to do, so we will see, but we're going to continue to pray for them. You know, Cal, such a prominent brother in Christ, and he's saying, you know, he's rejoicing because now he's witnessing to all the prisoners there.
His jail ministry.
That's right.
It's like Paul's life.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what my dad said. He got arrested with Operation Rescue out in California when we saw Baby Choice in that coffin. He got arrested like 3 times after that, and he said, if I didn't have a family, I would have the best time in jail just ministering and sharing the gospel. He loved it.
The fields are white as snow.
He'd never been in jail, but going into jail as a Christian and just having the opportunity in there, he had the time of his life.
Yeah. And,
God uses it all.
Yeah.
He uses it all for his good and his mission.
Anything.
There's nothing wasted.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Well, my goodness, Joshua.
We're winding up down to the last 2 minutes.
Joshua Vandeusen, Club Christ, making a difference in our community.
You guys have social media?
Yeah, it's at Club Christ LV on Instagram and on Facebook.
At Club Christ LV.
And your website is?
www.clubchrist.org.
Okay.
All right, so you want more information, and because you want Club Christ in your complex. That's just the bottom line. If you're living in an apartment complex someplace, you want... How good is that? I mean, my goodness, if I'd have known that was going on, my kids would have been involved. You know, I would have driven to the complex.
And as we're getting ready to close out this year, Sanctity of Life Sunday is coming up in January, 3rd week. If you go to church, which I hope you do, listening to the Christian radio show, talk to your church and see if they would be interested in doing a baby bottle campaign during that period of time. These baby bottle campaigns are little bottles that are banks that we pass out to churches, and they send them home with their families for 2 weeks generally, and then those families bring the bottles back with change, cash, checks, whatever they want to put in them. And that is a great way to help us with some of the funds that we need at First Choice. And Rebecca, our events manager today, told me, I'm really trying to get some new churches today to do some baby bottle campaigns. So I'm plugging baby bottles, folks. They're cute bottles.
and they go a long way to help make a difference in Las Vegas. So, Well, Joshua, thank you so much for being here today. My goodness, man, what a great ministry you have. Thank you for being obedient to the Lord and coming back to Vegas, getting your family here, and then heading up this great ministry. Holy smokes! So thank you for being here today. And
you're a good transient.
Yeah, that's right. This is one of the good immigrants that we have into Las Vegas Valley. We love everybody. We love it. We love everybody. But praise
all
God.
the outsiders that coming in,
That's
there's
right.
good ones.
Yes,
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, folks, for listening to us this evening. God bless you. Have a good remainder of your week.
Amen. God bless you, and have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Thanks for joining us for the Champions for Life radio broadcast, the outreach ministry of First Choice Pregnancy Services.
Join us every Thursday at 12:30 on KKVV 1060 AM.
If you or someone you know need help with your pregnancy, or if you wish to visit or support our clinic and radio